Hey guys, I'm back. I'm gonna wink another one here. I was looking at this stuff pretty closely. We did have another high-speed solar wind event. If you want to watch these numbers up here in a minute. These two I got synced. These are the Fock radiation belt measuring the electron volts around the planet. This is the 100,000 electron volt monitor, which is the lowest level at which ionization begins to occur. And I see a lot of videos out there with purple skies, pink skies, even green skies sometimes. And what that actually is the nitrogen and oxygen becoming ionized in our upper atmosphere from all these electron volts that are flying around the planet. And what happens is it strips off an electron from one of these elements, nitrogen or oxygen. And once that occurs, ionization begins to happen, and they start to glow different colors. And at 4 million electron volts, which indicates the presence of a nearby star, because you don't get that kind of electron volts, it's just normal background cosmic radiation. And if you followed Astral Traveler back in the day, he was always highlighting the LEF, the low energy field object, and he would bring up these electron volt monitors. But he never brought up the ones for the high. Well, if he did, he showed that they were basically measuring nil at the higher electron volts. He was just mostly focused on the lower electron volts. And so now we've had these high electron volts around the planet for quite some time now. At least a year, at least since I started my YouTube channel, came back online mid-January 2018. Ever since I started making vids again, been monitoring this stuff and learning as I go. We were getting these high readings. So anyway, and then you got the false bow shock showing up back here. You can see that thin line. Now, normally the colors are in the, well, when you see blacks and purples, that's super high. I think this monitor can't even read some of this stuff because it's actually getting whited out. So we have super high electron volt energy around the planet, which is causing these funky colored skies. Thankfully, it doesn't reach the ground, or we'd be in trouble. And the plasma obviously isn't reaching the ground. This is the plasma. I see people making videos about plasma, and there's no freaking way. If this plasma got to the planet, we'd be fried big time. And you can see it's always away from the planet. In fact, that's what's causing these so many big disturbances. All this energy coming in from Nemesis backside, and Earth's trying to fight it off and expel it by these polar cap field lines. Normally they just stream away in a lazy fashion, the black ones, and every once in a while they might close. I'm talking in normal conditions. They might close like this, or like this, or not even that far extended. And whenever that happens, you get a chance for seeing some aurora action around the poles. But these things have been closing. Sometimes they loop way out beyond the 100 Earth radii. And these are Earth radii here in 20 Earth radii increments, 5, 10, 15, 20. And each Earth radii is approximately 4,000 miles, 3,959 miles. And then you got the same thing in front of the planet. Normally the bow shock's around 10. But as you can see, it's extending out quite a bit. 15 there. Here you got the big planet. Read my hypothesis number 1. There's the magnetic field lines coming in from the front and stacking up in front of the planet from time to time. See them all? And then we got Nemesis reaching around this way, trying to grab us. I think some of its field lines are even extending as far out as being linking up with these ones in front of the planet now. So I mean, we're definitely caught in the middle between Nemesis behind, and we got the big planet or planets out front. And I'm pretty well. We documented the one for sure. Read my hypothesis number 1 underneath the video. That'll explain exactly what went on. And then we still have the it's like almost 11:30 to 7:30, so that's about an 8-hour gap on ACE. So we still have the gap on ACE. That's a data gap. In other words, ACE is out here at the L1 Lagrange point and Discover's out here as well. They're both satellites that were put up to monitor the solar wind coming from the sun in order to give us a heads up perhaps, and maybe power down some of these geosynchronous satellites and all the communication satellites above the Earth if we have a CME coming in. But so read hypothesis number 1, and that'll explain to you what these gaps I'm showing you here are on ACE. Discover is a 20-year newer model, so we're not seeing as many gaps on the Discover satellite. I'm sure its electronics and data feed and everything are much more sophisticated. So the gaps were occurring out front for the longest time. Then on October 16th, they began occurring on between the L1 Lagrange point where the satellites sit and Earth. So it's data relay gaps, and that's what we're still seeing here. That's the data relay gap on ACE. So there's big planet or planets that are interfering with the data collection. Here's MLSO yesterday. Looks like they cleaned it up pretty good, so we can see some of these big planets or objects that are out in front of the Earth between the Mauna Loa Solar Observatory, which sits in Hawaii, and the Sun. I think these are planets in here maybe, and these are the concentric magnetic rings, centric circles. They're only giving us about 12, 13, 14 images, so we're not getting to see a lot of movement, but you can see even in this short amount of time how much these things are moving. So they're getting closer to the planet, and they're looking bigger, in my humble opinion. I wanted to show you, well, let's go back here. Okay, now just check these arrows out, man. So all these solar wind numbers up here, and you should click the lower box on the right so you get a full screen view of this. And this is when the high-speed solar wind event started. Anyway, here's the numbers. I'll show you them up here, but I wanted to show you these arrows. See these arrows? They indicate the direction of the solar wind. Of course, the sun's out here, the real sun. Nemesis is back here somewhere back here. No telling exactly where, but I think it's getting closer. But look at how they're all jumbled. We got arrows going this way, then we got arrows coming back this way, and then watch what happens. Watch the arrows. Okay, they go into the chevron. You know something's going to happen when they start getting chevroned out. You can see the wind speeds coming up inside the magnetosphere. From 497 it jumps to 759. That's in just a short 4-minute span or less. And watch the arrows. Everything's going that way. We're trying to eject plasma. We got pressure coming back in this way from Nemesis. So it's all in flux. It's some violent space weather going on behind the planet 24/7, really. There's the chevron, so you know it's going to start to go here pretty soon. But watch this. Okay, look at it 2039. We got all this pressure coming from Nemesis in the back. Then we got these arrows going out this way. And then these ones don't exactly know what to do. They're caught in the middle. And that really illustrates it at 2043. Anyway, I'm running out of time. Let me just pull this through. There's Atlas again. Or Superman. I'm sorry, I gotta do that. These people that think they see the Eye of Ra behind the planet. That's sad. It really is. They're into the occult. That's all I can say. They've denied the true Creator God and His Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. So they've been giving themselves over to strong delusion. So here's where the event starts. 1048 at 2359. 1276, 1419, 1115. So just like clockwork, 14, 13, 14, 13, 11, 16, 1670. That's about the highest. So just like clockwork, right around midnight, we have another Nemesis high-speed solar wind event, and then pick back up again. There's 1101. 1377, 1762. Okay, so that's the highest. Goes to 235. So we're up like close to a 3-hour event here. So it started at 0059, I believe. Yeah, so that's about a 3-hour event. So it's getting longer. Look at hypothesis number 2. I cover the what's going on with the high-speed solar wind events. And we'll pull this one through. So it started at 59. That's what it looks like. I mean, just watch all these interplanetary magnetic field lines from Nemesis, the blue ones. They are trying to link up. And we got the ones out in front stacking up. I think the ones in Nemesis and actually the ones in front are starting to link up. So, I mean, to me, I would say things are getting hairier, without a doubt. You can't get rid of the plasma. Got these field lines coming from everywhere, interplanetary magnetic field lines, trying to grab our poor little planet. Wow. That's at 0043. Yeah, so that's when the event was ongoing. So look at Nemesis up here. Field line. I mean, that's pretty good concentration there. Trying to snake its way in. There they are there. Up there. Fortunately, the planet still has some strength, because look at these field lines, these black polar cap ones, they're getting closed up. In other words, they loop back to the planet and make a connection. Closed field connections, they close, so that's when they're represented by red. You can see they're way out here past 100 Earth radii, trying to expel all this plasma that's building up behind the planet. And you got Nemesis coming right back in. The blue field lines up the middle. You got a whole bunch of them out here now, trying to make a grab. Look at that. Well, this is what look at this field line here from Nemesis. It reached in whenever we had the closed field lines from the Earth. They closed. It turned red. But look, Nemesis got in here somehow and actually corrupted them and closed it on Nemesis. Nemesis actually grabbed into that huge ball of energy as represented by the blue IMF field line. Anyway, I'm running out of time. God bless. Peace, and I'm out.